Hey everybody, Walt here. So today is April 16th, and the plan was originally to go shoot a car show, first car show of the season. However, they are predicting rain this afternoon, and it does look like that the car show had gotten postponed until next Friday, I think it is now. This is actually the second time I tried to do this. We tried doing this last week. I recorded an intro and was all set to shoot that show, and when I got down there, there was nobody there, and that's when I discovered that they had postponed it from last Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, until today, and now they've postponed it again. But anyhow, what I'm going to do here is I found this waterfall here, and this is in Burlington. It's Burlington Falls, and we're going to do some long exposures here. And I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try doing some long exposures, not just with my DSLR, but I'm also going to try doing some long exposures with the drone. I actually bought some ND filters for the drone and have never actually tried to use them. So today I figure this is a good spot. I got a little bit of clear space above the falls here, and let's see if I can get some ND shots with the drone. That'll be interesting. So anyways, that's the plan for today. Let's go back and take a look at this. Okay, so this spot here, you know, we're in the woods here. There's the road's not too far from it. It's only maybe about not even 50 yards off to the side here. And I found a nice little spot to park, and excuse me, it looks like a pretty good spot. The bugs here are pretty intense, so one of the things, it kind of brings me to mind a couple of things I want to talk about. When you're out doing these things, there's a couple of items that I pack in my bag that a lot of people don't really think about, but it actually is something that's very helpful in situations like this. So first and foremost is a bug net. I can put this on over my hat and keep these mosquitoes and everything out of my face. That actually, I'll be honest with you, it's something that you should just, you know, they're small, they're lightweight, you can pick these things up for just a couple bucks on Amazon, but this is something that you should keep in your bag. You never know when you're gonna need it, and I tell you, sometimes you get into some spots where the bugs are just brutal, and having a bug net in your camera bag is a huge help. Another item that I want to talk about is leg protection. So there's a couple of things that I use, and unfortunately I cannot remember what the actual the proper name is. I'll put it right here below what they are, but basically they're these Velcro guards that kind of hook underneath my my shoe, and I wrap them around my shin. And what's really good about these things is it helps with like ticks and stuff like that. It kind of protects the bottom of your pants and keeps ticks and burrs and stuff like that off of you. So another piece of protection that you should consider. And then another thing that I pretty much always use, the thing I always use is knee pads. Honestly, you know, I'm 56 years old now, and I've been shooting car shows and stuff for years, and one of the challenges with it is I like getting my angles down low when I'm shooting cars, so I'm kneeling all the time, and my knees are just shot. I had bad knees to begin with before I even got into photography. Now that, you know, I've been doing that and all that kneeling over the years, you know, my knees are pretty bad. I've had surgeries on the knees. I have something called CPPD, which causes some inflammation in the knees, and it's very painful, and it's sometimes very difficult for me to walk. There are even times where it gets so bad where I'm on crutches. But in any event, knee protection is a must. And I'll be honest with you, even for younger photographers and everybody, having some knee protection, go to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up some decent knee pads for yourself. The ones that you can get at the big box stores like that, I mean, they're used to, like, people who do flooring and stuff like that. You'll find it in the flooring section. I'm telling you, get yourself a good set of spongy, absorbent, not absorbent, but good knee pads, something that just you can kneel on comfortably for some time. Be honest with you, it saves a lot of aggravation the next day, especially if you do a lot of kneeling. And one of the things, like I said, with car shows, I always try to get the cars at a little bit different angle. So, I don't want to stand there taking that picture at eye level like everybody else does. It looks like everybody else's cell phone shot. That's not what I'm trying to do. So I get down low, I get up high, I try at different angles, and having some good knee pads is a huge help. So do that. I would definitely recommend it. So what I got now is I got the Canon 5D Mark IV, and I have an ND64 filter with the polarizer, so we're gonna put that on there. I have a spot I've already picked out in the falls right here. I've already set the tripod up over here, so there's a good spot right there, and let's do some long exposures. Okay, so what I've done now is on the drone, I have put in you can see on the front there, that's an ND64 filter on the front of the gimbal there. We're going to give that a shot and see how that works. That was the same ND filter. So you see I put an ND64 on the gimbal of the drone. That's the same ND filter that I was using with the still camera. Not the exact same one, but the same ND filter strength. Both cameras I'm using an ND64. With the other one I was getting about a second or two, a little bit more of a shutter speed, so that seems to work pretty well. I figure I'll do the same strength on the drone. I have a 16, a 4, a 16, a 64, and a 256 for the drone. I think 256 is going to be a little too much. I'm a little concerned about that, the drone not being able to stay stationary in place for that long of a shutter speed, shutter exposure, but we'll see. Let's try it with the 64 and see how well that handles that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the camera down here, and I'm going to switch over to first person view on the drone, so you can see actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the video that I'm seeing in the DJI software so that I can show you what I'm doing. Alright, see if it's going to see the drone. Why is this not coming up? There we go. So I'm going to go ISO 100. I'm going to bring it down to a half second. Geez, I think I could go lower. Still not getting enough satellite coverage here. Kind of in a hard spot. See if we
the
can
home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
See if I can get a little better launching spot here. This is a little uneven. Let's try it right here. Let's see. Let's try it right here. Okay. And we're in sport mode, or in regular mode, I mean. Normal mode.
Take off. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Nailed on. Okay, so rather than boring you with just watching me fly the drone around on the screen and listening to all the drone prompts, I'm back at the house, and what I'm doing is I've already brought these photos into Lightroom, and I'm not going to do like some super high-end editing on these. I'm just doing some real quick using some you know presets that I have just to kind of show. So first off, let's start off with the ones with the DSLR. So this is one of those shots. I've already done some basic editing on this one here. This is prior to putting on the ND64 filter. So this is without the filter. ISO 100. It's got an f3.2 at 1/250th of a second. I've played with the color settings and everything, and the contrast and everything, kind of get that image to kind of pop a little bit. Not too bad. I like this one. slightly tighter shot. Same thing. Okay, gonna move on. This is where this shot here is when I started using the ND filters. So now my aperture started to close up a little bit. Went with an f8, still ISO 100, but it kicked it out to about a 2-second exposure. Get some nice silkiness on the water. I like that. You get a little bit of the movement of the bubbles in the bottom here. So decent. I think this one is okay. I've been playing, kind of playing with some of the settings, the color adjustments here. Simply in Lightroom, I'm not doing anything crazy, like, in Photoshop or anything. I'm not going in and playing with the tone curves or anything. Just kind of playing with some of the basic settings real quick, just to kind of pull that color, basic editing. That's all. Some of the ones I may go back and really spend some time on and really kind of do more. The other thing you'll notice here is, like, I've shot a bunch of shots landscape, and then I switched over and shot them again portrait. I do that mostly because later on I find if I don't do a landscape or a portrait, if I don't do both, later on I'll go back and I'll look and it says, oh, I know, I really wish I could have shot this the other way. So doing it both ways, just, in the end, you may find something you really look at and go, oh wow, I like this shot better. It just, so get in the habit of shoot it landscape and portrait in the same session, and that way you have something more to choose from. Okay, so let's switch over to the drone real quick. Drone, this is with the ND64. It doesn't quite pull the same shutter exposure time, specifically because the drone is set at a fixed f2.8. So, where the still camera I had it at f8 and was kicking that exposure out to 2 seconds, which works fine when it's sitting on the tripod. With the drone, what I'm finding is about 1/3 of a second is really the sweet spot on that. I still got to play and experiment with a little bit more, but I think that's really kind of where we're going. What I find is, like, when I started playing with the ND256 filter, I started seeing, it's a raw shot there. I started to introduce some movement. The exposure time kicked up to about 2 seconds, like I was getting with the still camera. The challenge with it was, like, here's with a 1/2 second. The challenge was is the drone couldn't hold its position that long. So this is where you start seeing a little bit of movement, and you can see it here. Like, and you look a little bit over here on this tree and on these rocks, there's just a little bit of softness in there. This shot here, the drone was really moving around a little bit, and there's a little bit of a breeze, so that kind of does it there. But you can kind of see the drone kind of struggles holding that position with the longer shutter speed. So I'm thinking about 1/3 of a second is really kind of the sweet spot with it. I still got to kind of play with it a little bit. I think I can probably do a little bit better with these shots. And these are unedited shots. So, some of these I may be able to save. Cancel. But that's what I was getting. Like this one here, like I already was playing with this one a little bit, even though the drone, got a little bit of movement. With the editing, I can get some nice effect there. So I think actually that doesn't look too bad. I would probably, because the drone is a slightly different aspect ratio than the still camera is. Kind of set that line right there. Bring that in. And just kind of do that same shot right in there. I think that kind of works. The one thing, though, I would also add is whenever you're shooting with ND filters, some ND filters will go what is called color cast, and you'll see it. You see how the water here is white, and falling water like this is white. Sometimes you'll go out there and you'll look at them and they look like that. And sometimes it's really strong where even this white area here is almost blue as well. You see, this doesn't look natural. And that's because the ND filter itself adds a little bit of blueness to the shot. So generally, when you're working with ND filters, especially if you're doing long exposures on a waterfalls, take that saturation on the blue down a little bit, because to me that doesn't look as good. I don't know about you, but that's what it is. I think that water, when I take that color out of that, that looks better. And that's just simply because the ND filter itself adds a little bit of color cast. So that was a good experiment. I'm going to play with that a little bit more next time, see what else I can get there. But, thank you for coming by. I appreciate you watching my video. Please like and subscribe. That helps raise my videos rankings in the YouTube's, rankings there. Simply it gets me a little bit more exposure, which is a good thing. Allows me to share my content with more people. And until next time,